Hey guys, this is Divorce Matters Today, and I am your host, Renala Aiken, and I am reacting to a clip by Pearl, right? Pearl Daily, right? She's got a lot of subscribers, subscribe to her stuff. She's been doing this for a few years, and she puts in some good work. So, without further ado, let's get started. This is crazy.
She said, no, there's something that I need to tell you. And I said, is it bad? And she said, yes. And I said, no, there's something that I need to tell you. And I said, is it bad? And she said, yes. And I said, is it about the marriage? And she said, yes. And then we began to drive back, and I had this sinking feeling in me. And we got home, we got into the house, into the kitchen, and I was standing by the kitchen table, hands rested on it, and I said, what's happened? And she said, I've been having an affair with a man from work. And I remember just tears began to stream. I didn't move, completely motionless. Tears began to stream. And then she said, and that's not all. And she said, I'm pregnant with this child. She said, no, there's something that I need to tell you. And I said, is it
I'm gonna let it play again so it can sink in. Oh my God.
bad? And she said, yes. And I said, is it about the marriage? And she said, yes. And then we began to drive back, and I had this sinking feeling in me. And we got home, we got into the house, into the kitchen, and I was standing by the kitchen table, hands rested on it, and I said, what's happened? And she said, I've been having an affair with a man from work. And I remember just tears began to stream. I didn't move, completely motionless. Tears began to stream. And then she said, and that's not all. And she said, I'm pregnant with this child. She said, no, there's something that I need to tell you.
Like honestly, my mic just broke. Well, it's fine. Well, we'll store it away. But honestly, guys, at this point, I am. Oh, affected. Okay, still works. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Honestly, at this point, guys, I don't know what to do. I want you to honestly, and I'm not trying to be funny, or I'm trying to. I want you to look at this guy, white dude. I want you to look at this guy. I want you to tell me whether or not this is not a good looking guy. He looks like a good looking guy. He looks like he's fit. He's got the beard that women like. Got a full set of hair, everything. Looks like a good looking guy. Right? My God, it's just simple. I literally don't know what to say. Like when this is the first time I'm reacting to this, but my heart actually sank for this dude, man. Let's go through it step by step, lady, so you can understand and be empathetic towards the man's plight today. You say you want to be independent and you want to have your own job. Yeah, when you do get the job, you sleep with your coworker. And not only that, you let him hit it raw and you get pregnant by him. But there's some other women who say they don't want to work. They want the man to provide everything. But yet, when they're at home, they have all the time in the world to sleep with whoever they want to. And we've done videos on this. You can just, YouTube is filled with that. They either sleeping with the mailman, the personal trainer, the gardener, next door neighbor. Okay, so that's that. Then women say they want a successful man, rich, handsome, six pack, and everything. Okay. Ladies, in every one of those scenarios, women will still cheat and women will still leave their husbands. Can you tell me why? I mean, just look at this guy. A lot of women will probably find him attractive. Don't matter what your race is. Ladies, do you now finally get it that, you know what? Yeah, maybe we are just evil. This guy is devastated. And you know what the sad part about this whole thing is? They're obviously going to get a divorce, obviously. But you know the sad part? Without shame, this woman will still come after this dude for half of everything that he has. Ladies, I think it's quite clear that it doesn't matter what race the woman is. She will devastate you all the same. What are men supposed to do? Is my question. If we marry you and we treat you well, can you still cheat on us? Even if we treat you badly like Chad or Tyrone, you still cheat on us. If we provide for you and we say that, you know what, stay in the house, I'll provide for everything, you still cheat on us. If we champion independence for women, you still have work husbands and you cheat on us. And still, if we have children together, the courts will take the children away from us and take half the property. But now, this man, you have literally devastated his life because not only did you cheat on him, but you also got pregnant by another man. Who do I blame? Do I blame the man? Yes. The man that you cheated with? Yes. But ultimately, the gate was in your court. You allowed access to this man. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we supposed to do? You say you want men to provide. You say you want men to protect. And this is the reward of this man. He provided, he protected to the best of his knowledge. He championed your independence and he said, you know what? No problem. Get a job. But look at what this woman did to this man to devastate literally his life. His life is dead. His life is devastated. You know what you just did, lady? You just turned this man into something evil. He will never trust another woman again. Ever. And the question I have for the lady that did this to this man is this: do you actually think you just got away with something? Do you think you got away with something? You think the big man upstairs didn't see what you did? I tell you, man, listen, I am not a black pillar. I'm not. But I can certainly understand why men go black pill. It's for situations like this. And lady, if you are one of the few faithful women that are out there, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to women in general. This is what happens. 80% of divorces are triggered by what? Women. And 90% of divorces are triggered by college educated women. This is another one. We have no recourse as men in in the United States. No recourse in the United States, in the UK, and Canada. You have no recourse. Woman can literally get pregnant by another man, and the courts will still award her child support and half your assets. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are we supposed to do? You can't say you just want to start sleeping on all kinds of women and just, and just saying, fuck it, man. Like, I'm just gonna, it's all going to hell. So I'm just gonna, all you're doing is you're just contributing to the degeneracy. That's all you're doing. You're just contributing to the degeneracy. You're no better. Listen, ladies and gents, man, listen, let me tell you something, man. I've told you guys in previous videos that for me, it was a choice that I chose not to have sex 4 years and counting. Are you guys under the assumption that over these 4 years I couldn't have slept with women? You're sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. How many opportunities I've had, but I chose not to. And the reason why I chose not to was because I have a friend that I haven't spoken to him in a while, but he's married, and he cheats on his wife. So, like, it's just, he can't but cheat on his wife. It's like he's possessed. So this is like many years ago, right? So I was, he and I were driving, and I told him like, bro, I'm trying to abstain or whatever. It's probably like 6, 7 years ago. I told him, yeah, I don't sleep with anybody. But he said, but don't you get head from girls? I was like, yeah, from a few girls. So he said, so what's the difference? It was from that moment on that I decided, you know what? He's got a point. In the big man's eyes upstairs, he's going to ask me that question. So what's the difference? It was from that moment on I said, you know what? I am not going to contribute to the degenerates. I said, you know what? Y'all can stay over there, and I'm going to stay over here. Y'all stay over there, and I'm going to stay over here. But let me tell you something, ladies and gents. Let me tell you something. This journey has not been easy, man. It really hasn't. Because it's almost to the point where you're afraid to get into a relationship with a woman because you know the potential harm it could do to you in the future. You can't ask them to move into your home. It's just I've analyzed this thing front, back, and center. I just don't see a way out for men today. And it's primarily because as long as women have the right to vote, and as long as women have buying and purchasing power, we men are screwed. Why? Especially on the second point, because, well, the Democrats, they have women locked down for life, especially black women. They're locked, they're monolith. They will never vote for Republicans. And why? It's just silly. Second point, women have buying power. Women are the ones that pay the tithes in church. Women are the ones that have the most college debt. Women are the ones that buy all these homes that they can't afford. Women are the ones that have that buy that, when you're looking to buy a property. Women are the ones that always talk about they want to upgrade the kitchen. So you got to spend even more money. Women are the ones that need you to upgrade their lifestyle. Women are the ones that shop at the malls. It's women. Women are the ones that make companies rich, not men. Because men, you can give men the most basic and he will be fine. This is why the churches, the governments, the police departments, the schools, the education system, they all cater to women. Why child support? Why? Because they know if we put the money in the hands of the women, they will spend it on stupid stuff. So it's a sad state of affairs, and this guy, man, my heart goes out to him, man. I can't even think about what he's going through, man. I really can't. I can't even fathom what he's going through. For not only your wife to cheat on you, but to allow that dude to hit it raw and get pregnant. And he said that she's been doing it for a while. Listen.
And I said, is it bad? And she said, yes. And I said, is it about the marriage? And she said, yes. And then we began to drive back, and I had this sinking feeling in me. And we got home, we got into the house, into the kitchen, and I was standing by the kitchen table, hands rested on it, and I said, what's happened? And she said, I've been having an affair with a man from work. And I remember just tears began to stream.
He said, I've been having an affair. So she's been doing this for a while. Even Christian women do this. So, quote unquote, Christian women, they do this. They do this. There is no fear. You know, I'm not advocating this, but I'm starting to understand now why in the Bible, women and men that committed adultery were stoned to death. I'm starting to understand why. It wasn't necessarily to kill them, but it was to put the fear in them to not even think about it. Because if you were caught, that's an automatic death sentence in the worst way, stoned to death. What they do is they bury you underneath the ground with your head exposed, and everybody takes turns and throwing stones at your head until you're dead. That's how that works. But now in society, there's no fear, there's no shame, it's just, it is what it is. Horrible time we live in. All right, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share if you learned something. I can't honestly give anybody advice on what to do. I honestly can't. But this video touched me, man. Like it hurt. I could look at the tears in his eyes. This shit ain't funny, man. This shit ain't funny at all. Talk about divorce matters, guys, because divorce actually matters in society today. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.